You know what I decided?
No.
I've decided from here on out, I'm going to crush these intros.
Because you're going to let me do them all?
If need be. But either way, they're getting
yes.
crushed. Straight crushed. I'm going to crush it. I'm crushing.
How do you expect to accomplish this goal you speak of?
I'm kind of doing it right now.
Are you?
Yeah. I bet you anything you asked anybody's
We
listened
probably
right
already lost 4 listeners. We only have 6.
Because I'm crushing? Should I back it off a little bit?
Do you think you're crushing too hard?
I'll always crush too hard. It's just who I am.
You are a feeler.
So you don't think I can pull it off?
Until proven otherwise, no, I don't.
All right. Better hold on to your butts. I'm going to prove that I'm going to crush the hell out of this next episode. We good to go?
All right, go.
Oh, thanks for being here, everybody.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Yes.
No, because I'm super mad. I'm not.
You're super Matt?
Yes, I'm a super version of myself.
Yeah. That's what I call you all the time.
No, I don't know that I'm. Mad's not the right word. Upset's not the right word. I'm perturbed at the moment because
Mentally unstable.
and this is an episode that'll possibly lose us 2 of our listeners or more, and possibly friends. And I'm not saying I'm okay with that because I don't think that what I'm going to get into in this episode should lose anybody, but it possibly will happen. A number of years ago, we'll call it, I don't know, 4, give or take.
Right, nice round number.
Give or take right around the last election. There was a lot of vitriol being spewed from one side of the aisle to the other about being snowflakes.
Ah.
And I really grew to hate that term for a lot of reasons. And
I don't hear it as much anymore. I hear it every now and then.
I don't think you hear it nearly at all anymore. And here's why.
They all melted?
Nope. Because the people that were slinging that word around have now become the quote unquote snowflakes.
Mm-hmm.
And the side that were the snowflakes are too good to remind them that they're snowflakes. Well, most of that side, not me apparently, because I'm going to tell them all why they're snowflakes.
Okay. Snowflake is the political slang word for the week. My issue with Snowflake is it's like everything else that has been where they've taken a word and tried to make it bad.
They've tried to make it a weapon.
Yeah. And the people they are accusing of being a snowflake, they don't seem to understand that the whole idea of the term snowflake and coming up with it and projecting it onto another class of people is being a snowflake in the first place.
Well,
It's like
sure.
owning yourself.
There's that. Here are the problems I have with it. Snowflakes are
Beautiful.
Well, yes, they are. But they're also dainty or delicate, right? Which I think is the terminology that they're using. But something else that is wholly unique to snowflakes is that they are unique. All of them are different. They're not all the same. Now, can you think of another term that was used at the same time snowflake was being used?
Am I allowed to say it?
I hope so.
Twat?
No.
I've been watching.
Maybe, but
I've been watching too much Ted Lasso.
no, sheep.
Oh yeah,
Because
That's
everybody had to think the same thing,
mm-hmm. But
which is the complete antithesis of uniqueness.
isn't it the people who are accusing that doing the exact thing?
Not only that, the people that are accusing of that are right-wing super Christians. The followers of Jesus are literally called sheep. My flock.
It's in print.
It's in the Bible. It's in the book that you're using to argue with me against, or used to using, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm angry.
Mm-hmm. So what did one sheep herder say to the other sheep herder?
I don't know.
Let's get the flock out of here.
Golden.
What? Okay. Let me bring you back down to earth a little bit.
Let's just come back to the word. Like now I've gotten on a whole different word that made me angry.
What triggered you for Snowflake today?
Taylor Swift.
She didn't
Not
say
her.
Snowflake.
No, not her personally.
Oh, the post that was today?
This is me defending her.
I actually like Taylor Swift.
I don't have any strong feelings one way or another towards Taylor Swift, but I am super team Swiftie right now. Because let's break down the Instagram post of the week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Because this is what upset me, because everybody is losing their damn minds. She's losing followers.
But she's not.
Well, let's pretend that she is. Just for the sake of it.
She actually gained 2 million followers, but they don't want you to think that.
Yes, but she also lost some. I know, because there are people saying that they're not following her. Like, yes, she's gained more than she's lost, but she's lost followers because of what she said. Now let's read the entirety of the post. If some of you may have seen this post, she's holding a cat.
It was a beautiful post. It is so well written.
It is perfectly eloquent and well worded and team world.
Yep.
And I will explain why. So she writes, like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now is a great time to do your research on the issues at hand and the stances these candidates take on the topics that matter to you the most. As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about their personal policies and plans for this. About their proposed policies and plans for this country. Recently, I was made aware that AI of me falsely endorsing Donald Trump's presidential run was posted to his site. It really conjured up my fears around AI and the dangers of spreading misinformation. It brought me to the conclusion that I need to be very transparent about my actual plans for this election as a voter. The simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. I think she is a steady-handed, gifted leader, and I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm and not chaos. I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who has been standing up for LGBTQ plus rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. I've done my research and I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do, and the choice is yours to make. I also want to say, especially to first-time voters, remember that in order to vote, you have to be registered. I also find it's much easier to vote early. I'll link where to register and find early voting dates and info in my story. With love and hope, Taylor Swift, Childless Cat Lady.
That's perfect.
So beyond the closure of that, which was absolutely spot on, perfect, and so lovely, the entire right side is losing their damn minds.
Well, because they've been fearing this for a while now.
Yeah, I guess. So they're upset that she is endorsing somebody. They're upset that she's making her political leanings known. And she did do both of those things.
She did that last time too.
Yeah. But more than all of that, she said to do your research and make your own decisions. She is not actively trying to convince anybody that they should be voting the same way she's voting.
Yep.
She tells you why she's voting that way and explains why it's important for her to vote that way.
Yeah. Last time this happened I think it was right before the primaries. She just said, go register to vote. She didn't even say anything. And then she put the voting link on her website and they lost their shit then. Just because they know who's going to, they don't want the young vote.
No, because they will lose the young vote.
They already have. And here's the thing. There's nobody who's a Swiftie, official Swiftie, that's following her other than a handful of maybe bots or the ones who are trying to get TikTok views now saying, we're ditching her. Because they all know where she stands. Her tours, her music, her videos have every color other than the rainbow, have gay people, straight people, all of it. So it's not like, she started in country, but even back then.
My tough part of this whole thing is I have plenty of musicians I'm a fan of or athletes that I admire. I know for a fact that I do not share the same opinions as all of those people that I follow.
Yeah.
And that's fucking okay.
Remember, it used to be.
That's what really lights me up about this is you guys are so delicate that you are going to let somebody's political views change the way that you feel about them as a human being.
Yeah.
They are still the human being you were a fan of 30 seconds ago before you read that post.
Mhm.
Why are you changing allegiances now? Like, she's not telling you not to vote the way that you want to vote.
Mhm.
Go ahead and vote that way. And it should be the same in the opposite direction. I don't have to agree with you. I don't
Yeah.
have to understand why you're voting the way you are.
Yeah.
I can question it. You don't need to give me an answer about it.
Mhm.
If that's the way you want to vote, vote that way.
Ma-
But to completely admonish somebody
Yeah.
for talking about it, and I got in it was a very quick argument because the person was an idiot and I made them feel that way, and so they stopped talking on Facebook today about, there's always those taboo subjects, and politics is one of them.
Yeah.
She really didn't talk about politics.
No, they never do.
She just suggested that people vote.
Yep.
And
Which, if you go back in the, like, before the orange Cheeto,
yeah,
all the musicians did that.
they did. And first of all, nobody stopped listening to U2, and I think we all know where Bono falls on everything. Like, literally everything, because he makes it so abundantly clear. But I think that my other thing is, this lady came at me and she was like, no, my grandmother told me, you don't talk about politics, blah, blah, blah. The thing that I still, honor today. Well, no, you don't, because you're discussing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, and more importantly, your entire site is buoyed by a channel that was created for you so that people would talk about politics nonstop.
Yeah.
When it was introduced as a opponent or another side to CNN was delivering news,
Mm-hmm.
and Fox was just delivering hot takes from talking heads.
Yeah.
And that all got you buoyed and got you so excited for your side of the aisle. And that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But don't come at me with, you don't talk about politics, when the reason that all of this is happening is because all these people talk about politics.
Yeah. Here's my take on it. Someone just pointed out that, like, the younger generation that are starting to vote now, all they've known is the last 9 years, which has not been typically
anything like it.
Anything that's real. It's never been this way. Like, and I don't know if people can remember. I've never been political. I didn't feel I had to be until a certain someone ran on hate and racism and was not a good human being in the first place. And usually when you have accusations of rape and bankruptcies and God knows what else, you wouldn't even be looked at to even remotely run for president or anything. I mean, I've seen guys lose their political career over not being able to spell potato or cheering the wrong way at a rally. Like, just devastated. But from the beginning, when I watched somebody make fun of somebody that was disabled on stage and got cheered for it, and at that time, how many of the people on the right were like disgusted by it? But then they still fell in place. They still followed it. And ever since then, I can't even believe where we're at right now.
This is going to be over the top.
Yeah.
And this will probably be the part that loses us listeners.
Uh-oh.
In Nazi Germany,
Mhm.
I can't imagine that every German agreed with everything that Hitler said.
You're right.
But at the end of the day, they all fell in line
Mm-hmm.
and did what they had to do to hurt up Jews and do what they were asked to do to them.
It's the one, it's not even, I don't consider it a positive anymore, but when it came to the political parties, that side has always locked in. They've always been, we vote.
They've always been lockstep.
So, which is fine until.
Which is why I find it interesting now and like heartwarming a little bit, because you're right. They have fallen sort of lockstep. And I feel like I think I remember at some point, and my mom and dad were both Democrats, but I think I remember at some point they were leaning towards a Republican that was running for president. Like it wasn't as hard. But what's been really heartening lately, and I don't know that it's true, it may just be propaganda. And you know how I feel about propaganda because I've talked about it plenty of times on this podcast. But there are the signs around that, it's like I was a Trump voter. I'm a Republican, blah, blah, blah. I'm voting for Harris.
Yeah.
And they're all over the place.
They're just tired of it.
Yeah. And I think
everybody
I don't even think as a nation, as a human being, you should be tired of somebody being a bully. You should be tired of somebody that doesn't represent you, that only represents themselves. You shouldn't be so worried about your stature being usurped by people that don't look like you
Mm-hmm.
that you need to latch on to this person that is unequivocally, without fail, a terrible human being.
And the exact opposite of what you are.
I would be happy to consider my vote
Mhm.
if they threw up any singular other Republican in the party.
What I was starting to get to about going back into the past is like, all of this isn't normal. It wasn't the same thing. I always hated the shitty ads between both parties, and then the third party that comes in and all they're doing is screwing up the other two parties, which I think there should be the third party. Why not? But until you take away the electoral college and all that bullshit, that's a whole other thing. But 9 years ago, that wasn't normal. I saw it as there's a monster and it has to be stopped.
You should be able to come out of a debate and be like,
Mhm.
you know what? They both made good points.
He's never made a point.
No. Well, aside from the fact that he's never made a point, like, regardless of what side you fall on, like, everybody's coming out saying, no, only this person made good points. Now, there's one side which is probably right about that comment, because you're right. The guy on the other side isn't making points.
Mhm.
Like, his whole thing about his plan without a plan, like, what are you latching onto? What as a voter can you possibly be holding on to where you're like, no, I get it. We got to go this way.
Yeah.
There can't be anything. The only thing you can be latching onto is
Mhm.
hate, and that should be embarrassing for you as a human being.
Well, that's the
Because you
thing.
shouldn't have to be fueled by hate to make a vote.
You mentioned how, like, and this is how it used to be. You didn't talk about your political affiliation, but at the end of the day, it wasn't it really didn't change a whole lot of things. I mean, typically when a Republican gets in, tax breaks happen for the rich, and then our economy goes to shit, and then the Democrats have to fix it. It's just what's happened the last 40 years. But it's not normal anymore to say, well, I support this side, because I keep saying there's three kinds of, I don't even like saying his name, the Orange Cheetos supporters. Because at this point, you're either just a Republican. You vote red no matter what. Doesn't matter, be the Antichrist up there. 2, you're just not smart. You're just stupid. Or 3, you love the racist. You are that person. That's the only 3 voters.
You love racism and guns.
Yeah.
Racism, God, and guns.
So you can't say, especially now, maybe after the first cycle of the election, in 2016, you could cling to the whole, yeah, but just because he says that, I don't believe that. At that time, I'm like, you're still choosing the side of hate. You're still choosing somebody who's known for racism, and you're making it okay just because I don't like that lady. That's great. But you can't split those hairs. If you're going to be anti-Semitic, if you're going to be racist, if you're going to be a homophobe, you don't get to pick how much of that you get to do. It's not like
It's all or nothing.
Yeah, it's just
You
different.
either are or you aren't.
It's just, and nobody's perfect. No president is perfect. And nobody who could run for president is going to be perfect, because they're just fucking human beings. But at the end of the day,
It's harder now than it's ever been, because social media exists as a thing. Like,
when I spent 30, 40 years growing up learning that you don't judge people by their skin or who they love or who they marry and all that stuff. And then you get to see such a cartoonish awfulness come to light for a candidate, and then be like, that's all okay. I thought I just spent the last 20 years learning that's not okay. Why? And I've just been dumbfounded ever since.
Yeah.
So does that make me a snowflake?
I think we're snowflakes because we care.
Which
Maybe.
They did that.
Which I've never seen a snowflake care. It just falls down and it melts. That's what snowflakes do.
Yeah. Snowflakes are
I
pretty.
guess I am having a little bit of a meltdown. So maybe I am a snowflake.
It's just so dumb.
I'm okay with being a snowflake if snowflake means that I care about other people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with being a snowflake if snowflake means that I understand that I am not voting to decide what is best for me. Because with 300 plus million people in this country,
Mhm.
your vote and who wins will ultimately not superly directly affect you on every singular level.
Yeah.
You should be voting for what is best for the people that populate this country.
Or your
future
family.
What is best for the people that populate this country is best for everybody.
Pretty much.
And that's what we should all be striving for.
Mm-hmm. And that even if you were a strict Republican or Democrat 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, everybody still had that. That was their mentality. America's great. We're going to make it awesome. Yeah, I believe this, but we're both, one would get in, they'd support him.
Right.
Would they try to win the next election? Yes, they would.
I think what's funny about it to me is in this cycle specifically,
mm-hmm.
I am getting an increased appreciation somehow for Mike Pence.
The fly guy?
Because even though, yes, I almost called him fly guy earlier. He's no Jeff Goldblum, but that's fine. Because even though he had some fucking nutty ideas.
He's took too long to speak up.
Yeah, he at least was in some small way the voice of reason on that ticket, which should tell you everything that you need to know about that ticket. But him picking somebody that's going to let him freewheel like this,
mm-hmm.
Holy sweet mother of God, we're screwed.
So much has happened in these 9 years, and every cycle, these last couple elections have all been different.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been so much that's chaos that has gone into them. Where we're at now, you're looking at a man in mental decline who was never mentally the greatest in the first place. And he's just trying to stay out of jail, period. There's nothing more to this. I don't even think he would have ran again if he didn't get indicted.
Yeah, I think honestly his biggest fear should be that not only is he running against somebody that should, for the love of God, beat him, but also is uniquely suited to put a trial together to put him in jail.
Because I'd like to think he's going to see jail time, but if he doesn't, he's spending the rest of his life in courts.
For sure.
Yeah, he'll be golfing and then in court, golfing, court, hopefully in jail, golf court. But it's the only reason he's running. And you can, the stuff he's spewing out, like you brought up the Holocaust stuff. He literally, what did he say last night or today? I have to look it up. He said it in Vegas yesterday, I think. He's literally spewing stuff that is just like that, where he wants to deport the legal aliens now, people who are American citizens officially.
Vegas is a good place to do that too, because it definitely doesn't run on the power of immigration.
But
God, I wish we had video for that.
Have you? Maybe I'll make that
I actually hurt my eyes a little bit. I rolled them so hard.
I turned 50 this year. That means I was born in 1974. My mom had more rights than my daughter, than my mom and my wife have now. But the more rights than my daughter had when I was born in 1974. That shouldn't even be possible to go backwards like that. And how that doesn't make every female mad and not be like, this is not about politics anymore. This is about me being a fucking human being. That's what blows my mind. But I've always just wanted to vote for the person. Like my dad was always not a strict Republican, but it's what he grew up in. I remember, I think he voted for Clinton. And he was proud of that. He was okay, but he went back to that. I just always looked at it as like, if I'm going to vote, I want to vote for somebody who seemed kind, smart, and at least can, for president, I want somebody to come off like I feel stupid talking to him. I want somebody to make me feel like, fuck, that guy knows what he's talking about, or put sentences together, normal shit like that. Fine. But I just, when I hear somebody who can, because politics is tricky, especially when you got to learn all the ins and outs, and the guys who can talk about that on the fly, that's what I want in a fucking leader.
Yeah.
And we haven't had that.
No, 100%. And two things that I think about. One is, you've probably seen the yard signs and stuff like that where it's Trump fans, take America back. Who are you taking it back from? From other Americans?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand what you're taking back, and I don't understand what you think America was or ever has been.
Yeah. the whole "Make America Great Again," which he ripped off from Ronald Reagan, because that was his slogan. Fine, he ran on that. I still don't think he technically won the first time.
No,
but then he had the 4 years. He had the 4 years, right?
We all put up with it for 4 years.
And then when he ran again, he was like, I got to make it right. I was like, well, you were just the fucker in there. So did you just screw it all up?
Right.
Like, why is it all fucking messed up? I thought you made it great. And he's just run on that ever since.
Well, there's that. There's also all these people being pissed at Taylor Swift when I think we're at over 70 music artists, which have told Trump that he is not allowed to use their music.
He's been completely sued.
Also, like...
And he broke a major law with that AI shit. That AI in her to do that politically is just another long list of actual laws that he's broken and can be...
There have been a lot of posts in my Facebook feed coming up lately with Keanu Reeves holding a T-shirt with a very right-wing statement. And I have two problems with that. The first problem is that I just don't feel that he would be that way. But the second and more important problem is that he's Canadian.
Yep. Isn't that awesome?
But yeah,
did you see his take on things too? Because once things got stupid about 8 or 9 years ago, when you couldn't, it's almost, we had to hide our head in the sand, it felt like, for a while, because you couldn't say anything because they were so loud and angry.
They were so busy calling us snowflakes.
And he was like, you can't argue with stupid anymore. He's all like, so when somebody comes up and says something that's completely wrong, completely the antithesis of what I am and what I believe and what I think, I just look at him and smile and I go, good. You're right. And then I walk off and I live my life. And I'm like, that is the perfect scenario. That's Keanu in a bow, I guess. I don't know.
All right. Let's get it back on the rails.
Don't even get me started on the train system in this fucking country.
Different rails.
Yeah.
Let's go through some UD. First one is a very sensitive person, someone who is easily hurt or offended by the statements of or actions of others.
Dude, that hurts my feelings a little bit.
As it should. This has nothing to do with politics. Snowflakes can be liberal or conservative. Whether it is a compliment or an insult is a matter of opinion and depends on the context. And then the description is an insult.
You know what? I haven't seen a snowflake in a long time, just because we live in Arizona.
So who would you describe as your 3 most prominent snowflakes?
I don't know where to start. Oh my God.
It can also be a group of people if you think that a group of people got mad about something.
Fox News.
Okay.
Which, you know how I know that the tide's changing is they're actually calling it, because he's getting his ass handed to him so badly on so many things now that a handful of them they're finally speaking up. They're like, they have to. Everybody that's on that list is just done nothing but. And you brought up the difference between how CNN was this and Fox News was that. And it's like, I've been screaming for years, stop watching one news station. Watch all of them, because even if you think somebody's leaning towards some way, the thing Fox News accuses everybody of is the exact, they're projecting they're doing exactly what the orange.
They say everybody else is doing.
Yeah. They're guilty of it tenfold. And I just don't understand how people don't see that. It's like, just watch watch all the different ones and see like, oh, they're all saying this. But no, Fox News is my news. They're the one telling me the real thing. It's like, no, they're telling you the hate that you want to believe in, the hate and the fear you want to believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could watch 3 or 4 stations and then come to the conclusion that you're still coming to, fine, I'll give you that. But that's not what's happened. And that's not what's happened for a long time. So there you go. And those are my votes for Snowflake.
Okay. You ready?
I mean, I could name like.
Do you want mine or do you not want mine?
Fine. Talk to me, Goose.
Obviously, Tangerine Dream is always going to be number 1 for me.
It's easy.
Yeah. I don't know how anybody can be as upset and like retaliatory about the things that people say to them.
Mm-hmm.
My next 2 will shock you.
Probably not. Is it me?
Eeyore.
He's what? How is he a snowflake?
He's always such a feeler. He was always just down in the dumps.
No, he's
not
a snowflake. He's emo, dude.
Good point. Sum 41.
No, he's just listening to.
You're gonna like my last one.
I hope so.
Starscream.
You know what?
Starscream is the greatest snowflake of all time.
For me, he's the original Snowflake. He's the first character that I would have thought or seen or cared about that would
He's
have
just
acted
such
like
a
that.
whiny little bitch about everything.
The only one that could have came before him is who would be in the Looney Tunes? Who would you? Daffy? Oh no, the gun guy. Who's
Yosemite Sam.
Yosemite Sam?
Perfect. Republican. Darth Vader's way up there too. Like he was so
No,
butthurt.
Lord Helmet. Well, he did blow up. He did blow up some planets because he was pissed about.
Yeah. He was air choking people because they weren't giving him what he wanted.
Okay, if you could air choke people, you'd be doing it left. You'd be doing it left or right, right?
I don't know. I don't know that I'm terrified of having that power because I am terrified I would absolutely use that power.
Remember the comedian Louis Anderson?
Who doesn't remember?
He had a skit about like, I wish I had.
His cartoon show was great. Life with Louis.
He was talking about road rage, and he was like, I wish they had bullets that would kill you, but only for like 10 minutes. So like when you do something stupid driving, I could bam shoot you, and then you'd wake up 10 minutes later on the side of the road like, oh fuck, I must have been being an idiot. Like it's like, I wish it was shit like that.
That would be pretty great.
It would be pretty great. God damn, I miss that guy.
But also partially collapsing somebody's throat would be pretty great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would abuse that. I don't know who wouldn't.
Okay, so I'm taking out Eeyore. So Vader and
That's a bad pick. No.
Vader and Starscream are the other two.
Eeyore's just emo. He's just like listening to Depeche Mode and shit like that.
Maybe that's why everybody thinks that I'm Eeyore.
Mm-hmm. People are people, man.
Why can't they? Why should it be?
Donkeys are donkeys, man. Is that what Eeyore is?
Yeah.
Sock Puppet
it's real
Donkey.
ass.
Sock Puppet Donkey is our new band name. God damn, I'm writing that down right now.
Yeah, and I can't call him a snowflake anyway because he was a donkey. So like represents the Democratic side. I can't attack my own people.
Yeah.
Dumbo, though, that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
All right, I think I've done all I can do on snowflakes because
Did I ShamWow your hate? You all rung out?
I don't know about that, but I don't know that we have enough tape to record the rest of it. So
all right. You seem like your city not so aggressive anymore. So
yeah, so I just at the end of the day, sum all this up. Go T-Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for saying what you said because you're right. Everybody should do their research and vote the way that they feel is the right way to vote. All right, slangers. Hopefully you stayed with us for all that.
We'll see how much of this rhetoric makes it onto the episode.
Hopefully you don't hate us, but we're always happy to have, positive discourse. So
basically,
even though we were definitely clearly hating in a certain direction, we're happy to hear what you have to say and why you feel the way you feel. Like you're entitled to that.
Can I be honest? We're reacting to the last 9 years of chaos and hate. That's the only reason I've went one way. I would go the opposite way no matter what it was. If the other side was doing it, I would be fucking draped in red right now.
Right.
It's just, can we get back to normal and, I don't know, take care of our own?
Illinois?
Yes. You want to go back with me?
No.
What?
I don't even like Northern Illinois.
You will after we go. Imagine how normal you'll be after you go.
Nah, that won't happen.
All right, this has been the political version of Hang Out with your Slang Out.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy Hala Hanukkah?
Hala Hanukkah.
That sounded a little...
That sounded a little...
No, I can't say...
I can't say Hala in front of Hanukkah.
Hanukkah Day? Can we just get Adam Sandler to sing the Hanukkah song and phase out? All right. Don't be part of the hate. Be part of the joy.
Don't melt. Everything's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. And like, everything melts where we live, so fuck. You don't even have to be a snowflake. You could be like a Toyota Corolla and you're going to fucking melt out here.
Can't even hit the ground.
All right, guys. Oh, register to vote. Have a good time.
Nobody would actively pay. And that's the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with Kid Rock's stance on a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to stop listening to shitty rock music just because he has some terrible feelings
Hey,
about
man,
things.
I hated Kid Rock long before he got political.
His music's never been good.
And if anybody Taylor Swift is literally playing.
I feel like he got put out because Detroit was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Eminem's a little hard for us, and we need somebody that really speaks to the white folk.
Maybe Kid Rock could be our new Slang. But I don't know. Taylor Swift is selling out arenas that are 60 to 70,000 people. There are literally 10 to 20,000 people in the parking lot watching it on big screens as well. She's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even worse when you go overseas.
Also, she's by herself. You guys need like 4 or 5 different headliners on that tour to still not draw as much as her. So congratulations.
Yeah. And she plays like a 3.5 hour set. That's unfucking real. So, yeah. Maybe Taylor Swift should run for president.
She probably will someday.
I'll just write her name in.
No, you can't do that this time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Next
Every
time.
vote counts.
Next time.